Hi everybody, welcome back to my channel, Nonstop Talking with your girl here, Vivian Liu. Today I am coming at you with a book on the haul. I recently cleaned out my shelves for the second time and now I have accumulated a ton of books I want to get rid of. I just washed my hair and it's wet, so that's why I just quickly put it to the side. So yeah, ignore that. But let's get started on this book on the haul. I will just be showing you the titles and maybe potentially giving you the reason why I am unhauling them, but there is a lot, so I will try to get through this as quickly as possible. So the first set of books I have are 3 books that are part of the Throne of Glass series, and I have Crown of Midnight, Queen of Shadows, and Empire of Storms. The reason why I'm getting rid of these are because I actually bought them all in hardcover, so it's not necessary for me to keep the paperback versions anymore. It's not like the covers are any different, so yeah, that's why I'm not gonna be keeping those anymore. And then the next book I am unhauling are also from the same series. I have Shadow and Bone and Ruin and Rising from, I guess, like the Grisha trilogy. I actually bought like the box set for these, and so I no longer like need them. I actually bought this first and I actually like these covers more than these covers, and so I actually went online to continue the search for these covers, and then I ended up getting this one and I tried to return it but I couldn't, so I was very upset. So this book angers me actually, but now I have it in a box set that's all of this cover, so I don't need these two, especially not this one. The next book I have here is Cardcaptor Sakura in this omnibus version volume 1. I originally bought them used because I was like, oh, they're so expensive, let me just get them used, and then it came and the quality isn't that great that I was just like, oh, never mind. I am gonna get them new, and that's why I have this new and I no longer need the used version that I bought. Another book is this one, To Kill a Mockingbird by Harper Lee. It's one of my favorite required readings in high school, so I saw it used, or I didn't see it used. I bought this on Book Outlet, and I decided that one day I'm gonna like reread this, but the back is actually like quite like spotty. I mean, you can't really see it, but it's like quite spotty and damaged, and I don't like it. So I was like, nope, I don't want to keep this version, and that's why that is being unhauled. The next book I have is The Book Thief. I haven't read this book yet. It's on my list and I will get to it one day, but I just feel like it's been sitting on like my bookshelves for so long that if I was to pick it up, I would probably pick it up either as like an ebook or an audiobook, and I don't really know if there really is a point to like keep the physical copy. I also don't like it when cover pages do this. Like, just keep the pages all the same length. I don't understand this whole like the first page is a little bit shorter kind of like mess or deal or whatnot they're trying to do. Next, I have Not If I Save You First by Ali Carter. I love Ali Carter. She's one of my favorite middle grade authors. I've read most of her books. I actually pre-ordered this, and I absolutely hate the cover. I think the cover is just ugly, but they did come out with a paperback like version that I like way more, and it kind of matches some of the illustrations for her previous books like the Gallagher Girls, and I think there's like one version of like High Society that it matches with as well. But yeah, so I rebought that book in paperback because it's so much prettier, and I am gonna get rid of this hardcover because it is ugly. I thought I grouped all the series together, but I guess I didn't, because in my other box there is Throne of Glass. I actually bought this at like a small independent bookstore, and I was really like proud of myself for doing that. But like I said, I've upgraded them all to hardcover since then, and I don't need to keep the paperbacks any longer. Next, I have Dating You, Hating You by Christina Lauren. If you've watched my previous videos, I've talked about how I have like a love and hate relationship with Christina Lauren. I either really like their books, I really don't like their books, and this is in the don't like category, therefore Unhaul. Next, I have November 9 by Colleen Hoover. Once again, if you've seen my other videos, you'll know that I absolutely hate this book. I didn't like it at all. It's like one of my like worst reads, and yeah, like why would I keep it? Next, I have Leah and the Offbeat by Becky Albertalli. I read Simon versus the Homo Sapiens Agenda, loved it, picked this up, didn't love it, and also I like kind of got the UK version, so it's a bit shorter than the US versions of Simon versus the Homo Sapiens and the Upside of Unrequited. So because it's like awkwardly a different length, first of all, or no, sorry, a different height, first of all, and secondly, like I just don't like it. The story, there's no point in keeping this on my shelf. Next, I have Dumpling by Julie Murphy. Simply, this book did nothing for me. Had high expectations, especially since it got turned into a Netflix movie. The movie was okay, the book was a little bit below okay, and now I'm getting rid of it. Next, I have Suicide Notes from Beautiful Girls by Lynn Wingarden. I love the cover. This was definitely a cover buy. I think the burning matches look really cool. But just sadly, like, I know like the ending is supposed to be like, ooh, you're not really sure. But I didn't really like the book, so I'm just like, let's just get rid of it. Next, I have Better Than Perfect by Simone Elkelis. I love the Perfect Chemistry trilogy by Simone Elkelis, and so I decided to pick up another book of hers. I got this on Book Outlet, actually. I read it, and it didn't really do much for me. So there's no reason to really like keep it. It's like also titled as Wild Cars. I really like the way that this girl, I mean, doesn't it look like a Casey West cover? But besides that, the way this girl ties her shoelace is actually how I do my shoelaces, so I think that's cool. Just a random side note, but yeah, still getting rid of this book. Next, I have Wedlock by Ella Frank and Brooke Blaine. This is the third book in MM Romance trilogy. I read the first book, thought it was pretty decent. Read the second book, didn't really like it. But I wanted to like complete the trilogy anyways. So even though I've like unhauled the first and second book already, I kept the third book, just like waiting until like I would finally like push myself to read it, and I did push myself to read it. It's cute, I can see why some people like it, but it didn't really do much for me, and I already got rid of the first two books. There's no point in keeping it. I actually got this used. I bought the first book new, and then because I was just like, oh, it's only decent, but I want to continue on, so I got the second and third book used, and they actually, the second and third book ended up being signed copies, so I thought that was really funny, and now I'm giving it away too. Next, I have Wuthering Heights by Emily Bronte. I actually bought this at a used bookstore. The price is right there, $3.50. I had some credits there, so I thought I would pick this up. It's one of the classics that are on my list of like, read this, Vivian, one day. But I actually don't like these deckled pages, firstly, and I don't think the cover is pretty. So I'm just like, yeah, I haven't picked it up. The cover's not nice, the deco pages aren't nice. If I was to ever pick this up, like, let's get a nicer version. Next, I'm not really sure about this, but I probably will go through with this decision. And this book is The Gentleman's Guide to Vice and Virtue by Mackenzie Lee. I think I gave this like a 3.5. I thought it was good, and then the next book came out and it got really mixed reviews, and from people that like I like, it got mostly negative reviews, so I was just like, I don't want to continue on with this like series, and I didn't think the first book was like great, and I'm never gonna like pick it up again, even though I thought it was like good, that there's no point in keeping it on my shelves, even though like I personally really like this right here. I think it looks really pretty on the shelf, but yeah, shouldn't keep it. Next, I have a graphic novel, New Superman by Jean Luen Yang, I think. So I really like Jean Luen Yang. I think his American Born Chinese graphic novel really spoke to me, and that's why I decided to pick this up, because this is Superman if he was Chinese, and I didn't like it. I found it really boring. It ends on like a pretty like interesting cliffhanger, I have to admit. And I'm contemplating whether I should pick up volume 2, but at the same time I just found this so boring that I probably won't, and yeah, there's no point in keeping this. Next book I have here is Romeo and Juliet by William Shakespeare. I saw this on Book Outlet for really cheap, and so I was just like, ooh, I really want to reread this as an adult, because it was required reading, I think, my freshman year of high school, and this was actually like my least favorite Shakespeare. So I was like, I want to reread this as an adult and see what my opinions are. Still haven't gotten around to it. Find that the cover is really ugly. Don't need to keep it. Next, I have Sense and Sensibility by Jane Austen. I like Jane Austen. I've read Emma and Pride and Prejudice. Love them both, and I've seen like almost all of like the BBC adaptation of her books, and I like want to slowly, because it takes me a really long time to read classics, read like all of her books, and that's why I have this, but I just think the cover's really ugly and I don't feel motivated to pick this up, so let me just get rid of it for now. Next, I have Sweetheart by Chelsea Kane. I actually really like this series. I think I've read the first 3 books. I haven't finished it, but I'll get to it one day. But I do own the first 3 books, and this one I like awkwardly bought, and it didn't bother me, but now it bothers me that the 2 other ones are like regular paperback height, and this one is like mass market paperback height, and when I look at it on my shelves and I see how much shorter it is, it just bothers me. So I'm getting rid of this, and then I will buy it to match the heights of the other books. Yeah. Next, I have Batman Nightwalker by Marie Lu. If you saw my March 2019 wrap up, you'll know that I did not like this book. This was my lowest rated book of the month. I think I gave it a 1.5 out of 5, which is super low even for me, that really there's just no point in keeping this at all. And it sadly is a Barnes & Noble signed copy, so that's why like I still have it, because like my heart hasn't been able to like really give it away. But honestly, I didn't like it. I'm never ever gonna pick this up again. Like, get rid of it, Vivian. Get rid of it. Next, I have The Poppy War by R.F. Kuang. I know a lot of people really like this, and I wish I was one of them, because I was super duper stoked for this. I bought it like right after it came out, and I don't know, it was really, really difficult for me to get through it and for me to read it. I like tried multiple times, and I just had to push myself to even finish it. That like, even though it's like actually pretty super duper interesting, like I don't know why I just struggled so hard with this, that there's no point in continuing on with the series, and there's no point in keeping this book if I'm not going to continue on. I don't know which book's fault it is in this stack, but it's like slanted towards this way, but this is like where the shorter books are, so I have to start a 3rd stack. Next, I have Everyone's Getting Married Volume 1. I was really excited about this. I like read it in Japanese at first and never got around to finishing it, and then I saw that the first volume was on sale, so I went and got the first volume thinking like I'm just gonna buy all of these volumes and then reread the series, because I loved what I read in Japanese. I ended up hating this series towards the end, and you will be getting a series wrap up for this very soon. I don't know which one's coming out first, this book Unhaul or this series wrap up, but yeah, I hate this, and there's definitely no point in keeping something I hate, even though the first volume itself wasn't like the start of the hate. But yeah, this next one is not mine, but it's on my shelf, and I don't want it. It's either my aunt's yeah, it's probably my aunt's. But it's Film Music, The Soul of Cinema by Larry M. Tim. I think it's a what? Film Music Appreciation textbook. That's what it says on the back. It's on my shelf. I don't want it. It's not mine. I could ask my aunt if she wants it, if it's hers. But I'm pretty sure she doesn't want it. And yeah, we don't need this. Bye bye. I also took a quick look at like my childhood bookshelf. But that's like really hard to clean out, just because technically not all the books are mine. Some of them are like my sister's, some of them are like my brother's, and there's just so much sentimental value to like certain books or certain series. And then when I like try to unhaul some, my parents are like, but what if like your kids need to read books? Save these for your future children. And I'm just like, okay, whatever. But I did pick out 3 that I will for sure be adding into this stack of Unhaul. And I think, yeah, that is that. There are some other textbooks, and I guess like not like textbooks, but like teaching you, like prepping for tests, like test material books, that I am also getting rid of, but I will not be sharing that. There's no point. And that's that. This is not like my first unhaul, but this is the first unhaul that I have filmed, and I've hoped you enjoyed it. I felt like I went through it really quickly because there were a lot of books. I'm not gonna count this. I'm too lazy to do that. I guess like most of them, like the reasons make sense. Most of them are just books I like read, didn't like, don't need to keep. Some of them are like books where I find the covers ugly and I will like change them. Or some of them are like duplicate copies. Like those are the 3 like main reasons why like I unhaul books. And that's that. Comment below what was a recent book that you unhaul, or if you like unhaul books in general. And outro time. Like, comment, subscribe. See you in my next video whenever that is. Bye.